Wonderful Wednesday. Welcome to Gypsy Road, Journey into the Unknown. And I'm a few minutes late. Apologize for that, but I was actually went live on Instagram just like 30 minutes ago and stuff.
Cool.
So I was a little behind because I got more into it than I thought I was. I wanted to test out Instagram, trying to get that working where we could go live at the same time, and I just can't get it to work. The only way I can get Instagram to work is if I go live on it just through the iPad by itself.
That's weird.
It is, and that worked. And of course, since I was on there, I already had it up. I was telling people to come over to this channel today. We're going to be talking about some vampires, some royal family being linked to the vampires. Stuff like that. And I'll bring it up here. Bob's getting ready for a football game. I can see that. He's getting ready. But beyond that, I was talking on the other channel, this is our 15-minute morning coffee talk real quick before we get into the Mandelas, the Grandpa's World, what the fuck news and all that. And what I was talking about on Instagram is, I don't know if you heard, I mean, you're in the UK, but I'm sure the UK was talking about it.
What's up?
We lost a great musician yesterday.
Who?
A real, true musician. We lost Eddie Van Halen.
No shit.
You didn't know
Eddie
that?
Van Halen died?
Died at 65.
Oh, where'd he die at?
I don't know exactly died, but he died of throat cancer.
Well, yeah, he's a smoker to the day he died, of course. Yeah, okay, that's why they were playing his music this morning. That's weird.
Yeah, the radio station up here was playing Van Halen for like 2 hours. So, and not 2 hours. I mean, for like 24 hours. So it was cool, we're talking about. Yeah, we're just talking about it. If somebody goes to me, go, Eric, who's your like 3 top guitar players? It's hard to say who's the best because that's impossible. But if somebody asks me my opinion, who are my 3, I would always say Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, and Eddie Van Halen. You got Eric Clapton, who's great. You got Yngwie
Malmsteen. Yngwie Malmsteen. Remember that guy?
Is great. B.B. King. I mean, there's so many blues players. There's so many great. But if you're asking me, or Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, Stevie Ray Vaughan was freaking awesome himself.
Yeah.
But Eddie was like, he invented like classical music into rock and roll where if anybody plays guitar will know, like, if you're right-handed, you got the whole guitar. I wish I had one right here where you got like the main part here which your right hand plays, and you got the top part, the leg, the key part, right?
Yeah.
And most average musicians play in that style, but Eddie could fucking play every part of the guitar with either hand. I mean, the man, I seen him twice in concert. I seen him in 1992 with the FUCK album, the Fark Knowledge, basically the Fuck album. And I saw him in 2006 when I took Gabriel to see him. And Eddie was just different than other guitar players, where a lot of guitar solos, the guitar players running around all over the stage. Eddie never needed to run around. That guy could just stand there, just stand in one spot and blow your mind. Just the way
he was doing too much. He's actually not performing. He's actually playing the guitar. So he had to play his guitar. There's no energy to be running around. Dude played the fucking, oh, man.
No, they asked Eddie one time. I remember this story. They asked Eddie when David Lee Roth quit the band. They asked Eddie, "Are you ever going to do a solo album?" And Eddie goes, "All my Van Halen albums are my solo albums."
That's good.
Which is true, right? I mean, it's true. And,
true. Every album is a solo album. Because it was like the singer was like second to actually the guitar playing. That's why it was so easy to replace. Like, oh, well, David Lee Roth night. Well, fuck him. We'll replace him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people forget that Eddie didn't kick out David. David quit the band when Eddie was getting tired. Guys, this is just coffee talk until we get into our subjects. When Eddie was getting tired of doing remakes of other songs with the studios, they wanted remakes. David Lee Roth just wanted to keep doing remakes. And Eddie got so tired of the music business, he actually created his own studio called 5150.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He created his own studio called 5150, which is the name of one of their albums. So he could record the music at his own studio and keep the records, the suits in their building.
Yeah.
But while he was doing this for the last album, 1984, David Lee Roth, the song Jump. Technically they only had one number one song ever in the band. It was actually Jump. And nobody in the band liked Jump except for Eddie. Not even David. Nobody liked that keyboard sound until the song came out. And then everybody loves it. But when the album was done, they're doing the tour. When Eddie was writing for his next album, David Lee Roth already had another band assembled on the side. He had Steve Vai, which awesome guitar player. Billy Sheehan. He actually already created a band while he was still in Van Halen.
Yeah.
And then he quit.
Yeah.
Now what's so awesome about this kind of a story, now this story is different than AC/DC because AC/DC lead singer Bon Scott died. So they had no choice to get another singer if they wanted to move on, right? So But think about this. You're Van Halen, right? And you're known for Eddie and you're known for David. Now, you're just not replacing a singer who died. You're replacing a singer who's going out there to kick your ass. You know what I mean? And you talk about match made in heaven. When they got Sammy, people don't realize that Sammy came off his biggest album ever, the song Can't Drive 55.
Yeah.
Which was a huge hit. So it wasn't like Sammy was a wash-up singer. No, he just hit his biggest album. And how they got connected, Bob, was, I don't know if you knew this, they had the same mechanic working on cars.
No, I didn't know that.
So when Eddie took his car down to get worked on, and apparently Eddie was bummed because, they had no singer. And the mechanic, who's his friend there at the shop, goes, I just fixed Sammy's car. You should get Sammy and give him a call. And seriously, that's where they thought, hey, and it was like a match made in heaven. If you lose David, it's a match made in heaven, right? Because this time
Sammy Hagar was fuck. Yeah, he was like, the second. Well, I mean, after Diamond Dave fucking split, screw him. Oh man,
what this did for Eddie was able to create different kind of music because Eddie was like, holy shit, Sammy can hit these notes. Sammy can sing. Sammy can sing. David is a studio singer. David is not a live singer. So that allowed Eddie, and also Sammy played guitar. So it allowed Eddie to do more keyboards, to do more this, to do more that, to make his legend even grow because Sammy could pick up some of his guitar playing while he's doing some keyboards like the song Right Here, Right Now, the piano stuff.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? So it was like, people's like, who you pick? I go, you don't have to pick any singer because it allowed different kind of music within the band. So you had the David's music. You had the Sammy music. So you had different styles. And, of course, he smoked so much. He smoked on stage, and every time you see him play with other people, he always had a cigarette connected to his guitar. It actually got him. Now it's sad that
I can't hate him for that one. That's I'm a smoker.
While Dave and all them were all front of the cameras, Eddie was never really front of the camera. He hated the camera. He was always behind the scenes, never said nothing. Always, when people say that Eddie did this, you never know because Eddie just stayed behind the scenes until he had to do an interview or something for something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool, man. I did not know he died. I did not know he. Well, you know, it is what it is. It's just the time. This is it. This is the time. So he's dead. There'll be another artist come along, but won't be the same. How his brother's in the band, so I don't know how his brother's taking it. That's fucked up, man.
Well, I mean, yeah. You lost
He's
your brother.
old, dude. That guy lived a fucking hard life. They all live hard lives.
Well, you lost the lead of your band. I mean, usually lead singers are your lead of the band, but for Van Halen, it was always been Eddie. That's gone.
Yeah.
And then the original bass player, he plays with Sammy. He's not even with the band because they actually fired him without telling him. So it's like, even if the brother wants to come back, the only way he's able to even try to move on is you got to get your bass player back. Fuck Dave. Dave is too much of a hardcore asshole. You get Sammy back, and then I don't know. You what you do is, if you do concerts, you invite different guitar gods like Zach Wilder from Ozzy.
Yeah.
You invite different guitar players, maybe like each different night, because you can't replace Eddie.
No, well, they'll be called a Van Halen tribute band. They can't be Van Halen. They got to be Van Halen tribute band.
Yeah, because I know. It's only band that you can replace all the singers you want, but you just can't replace the guitars, and that's rare. That's rare for any band to say you can't really replace guitar player.
Yeah, you can't. Not Van Halen. Not Van. He was Van Halen. Van Halen's his name. So you got the brother, but it'd be like Van Halen revisited it or some kind of shit like that.
The cool story behind the Van Halen name too is kind of cool, that when they're trying to come up with a name, it was actually, the only reason David Lee Roth was in the band, because he bought the band instruments. He bought them like speakers and stuff, because David Lee Roth had a rich dad.
Yeah.
He was a rich boy. He was a rich kid. He wasn't a poor kid from the streets. He was a rich kid.
Oh.
He basically technically bought his way in the band. If you really think about it,
it was like David Leibowitz or some weird shit like that. Yeah, he was Jewish.
But Eddie, David goes, why not just name the band your last name's Van Halen? It sounds cool.
Halen. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it fits in perfectly.
Yeah. David Lee Roth he looks like shit now. I mean, he's all fucked up. He just looks nasty. He lost his day, man. Long time ago.
I think the best guitars is all girl death metal band Kitty.
Oh, okay. We'll check them out.
Listen, you can never say who's the number one guitar player ever, because it could be somebody in a basement that never had the opportunity to make it big that could be the best ever. There's a lot of people. I'm not calling anybody mentally challenged, but there's some mentally challenged people that could play instruments better than any normal person out there. You know? There is. I'm not making fun of anybody, but I'm just saying the greatest ever could just be could be your neighbor. You never know. What is this here? David Lee Roth did a guest appearance on The Sopranos poker game scene. Yes, he did.
Of course.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, of course he did.
I hate this fucking chair. I'm going to kill my son for taking my good chair and giving me a chair that can't stay up. But I'm going to do something a little different. It's not really different. It is Mandela effect. But it's not a Whopper. It's not a Whopper machine or something. That I saw this video from, maybe it's Mandela. It's kind of ruining the movie Scream for me.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that one.
Yeah,
I know. I
because what I'm about to show is I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that this is a true Mandela effect, because myself might never realize, maybe I never look at this ghost's eyes, but I want you to look at his eyes, okay? I want you to look at his eyes, and we'll talk about it. Here we go.
So I was coming and I was looking at the Scream trailer, and I just couldn't help but notice that Ghostface, the guy that kills people in the movies, his nose looks like a heart. I've never seen that before, and I know hearts are popping up all over the place. Statues and other things. People have talked about it, so I just wanted to talk about it. Do you remember his nose looking like a heart? I really thought there was more bone. So I have some examples here.
I mean, look at the eyes, look at the nose. I don't even remember, honestly, the eyes being that messed up. But the nose is more shape of a heart, and this is just like a picture of it. And like I said, I never really, I know what the mask looked like, but I can't sit here and say I honestly stared at every part of it. But if you scroll back, we'll scroll back. That is weird. I mean, even the eyes for me, I don't remember the eyes being that wide and big. Also, it's like a pickle. It's like
they look like, what's that symbol they use for a dick?
Penis?
No, the emojis, the emoji.
Look.
What do they call that?
So she's showing most pictures have the nose looking like a nose, not like a heart, an upside down heart.
It doesn't look like a heart. Now it does. It looked like a nose before with triangles. Now it looks like teardrops.
Yeah, and it just kind of looking at the
it doesn't have that center ridge. It looks like a damn heart.
Yeah, I can never look at the mask again. I can't. It's just so weird.
And it's got puppy eyes. It looks like it's almost sad. It's almost sad. It got puppy eyes. It looks puppy-eyed with a little heart. He almost looks good now. He looks puppy-eyed with a heart, like an upside-down heart. He don't look scary. It looks softened, like softened down with. It's got the eyes that look like they're purple. It's supposed to be an emoji for a dick. I forgot what it's called. What's that called? I
forgot. This is another great guitar player, Joe Satriani. Joe Satriani is a fucking badass guitar player. But I know, right? So now every time I'm gonna watch. Well, I don't really watch the movie The Scream anymore. Scream was cute, Scream is like the horror movies of Pulp Fiction style of the art of conversation. Because the movie's about the art of conversation. It's about the talk, about the language, and then of course, it looks,
Eric. If I were to go Freudian, I'm going to do a Freudian guess on this one. I looked it up. So the eyes look like an eggplant, and the eggplant is a symbol of the penis for emojis.
Well, here's
so it looks
like
eyes.
Kidney beans. That's a good one.
Kidney beans are like an eggplant with a courgettes.
Eggplant. Boner eyes.
Boner eyes. Yes, it's got boner eyes. It does have boner eyes. That's it. And the nose looks like a round ass. It looks like an upside down heart. So you got a boner and a nice rump.
And Tomicon says the bottom of his mouth as well comes outward. His eyes, those ridges are huge.
Yeah, the ridges are huge. That's what I was saying. It's softer.
I had a mask that was different. Now, when you buy masks, a lot of times masks can look different than the movie. Because if you go buy a hockey mask of Jason, almost every freaking hockey mask you find are not exactly the same. So, or look at Michael Myers' mask. Are you getting the part 2, part 4, part 5, part 6, part 7, part 8, part 10, 11, 12, 13? What part are you getting? Or do you want to start over with the Rob Zombie's mask? 1, 2. I mean, so buying masks could always be different, but I'm never going to be able to look at this mask the same.
This is from the movie. Yeah, it doesn't have that center ridge between the nostrils where you took a nose and cut it off. Look, Michael Jackson. Like Michael Jackson had the original nose. In fact, it looked like Michael Jackson's nose, and now it looks like a heart. Like there's no sensor cartilage It's
I
just a heart.
that Howard Stern.
More roundy. Everything's not so triangle. Before it was triangle. It's more round. And then the eyes look like, again, it looks like an eggplant. Like an emoji. Yeah. Interesting.
It is.
I found one, Eric. I found one. I don't know if what it is, if it's a change or not. I have to ask people. I have to literally put it out there and let people decide for themselves. You want to hear it?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, yeah. I think did I tell this one already about the Band of America? America. I went through the desert with a horse with no name. It felt good to get out of the rain, because in the desert you can't remember your name because there ain't no one for to give you no pain. Remember that?
I mean, I remember the song. I don't remember the exact.
I'm in the desert, and okay. So it used to be, in my mind, and I don't know if I'm wrong, and I might be wrong, but I always remember. Maybe I heard it wrong my entire life, but in the desert, you can't remember your name, for there's no one out there to give you no pain. Whatever, you can't remember your name, because in the desert, you can't remember your name because you're in a horse in the desert with no name. So when you're in the desert, you can't remember your name. Now, maybe that's how my mind put it. Maybe because I heard the desert, the horse had no name in the desert. So when you're in the desert, you can't remember your name. But now it says you can remember your name. I got it wrong. You can remember your name.
What's the exact name of that song?
The band is called America. And what's it called? Someone on the sidebar knows the fucking name. I went to a desert with no name. Yes, I remember can't. Yeah, now it's can. Now you can remember your name. Like what?
That's how America.
But the name, America. And then I went to the desert. I don't know the name of the song. Desert. Went to the desert. A horse with no name. Maybe a horse with no name.
Horse with no name. Yeah, a horse with no name. Lyric. It's A Horse by America.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and look for lyrics.
Let me share. I'll show you what the actual lyrics is of that song.
Yeah.
I got a lot of tabs up, so hopefully I don't freeze. But so the lyrics is, on the first part of our journey, I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. The first thing I met was a fly with the buzz and the sky with no clouds. The heart was hot and the ground was dry, but the air was full of sound. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can remember your name, because there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
I remember can't.
La 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 la.
I remember can't. I remember can't. It's
Now,
in my head.
Let me see the second part. After 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at a river bed. And the story it told of a river that flowed made me sad to think it was dead. You see, I think it must went back to that course.
Yeah.
I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good. I can't even sing it like the song. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name because there ain't no one for you to give no pain.
You said can't. You see, you want to say can't. It's can.
You can't.
Yeah.
I know. Maybe that's why. Maybe like when other people sing this song, because the way you say it, you automatically kind of say can't, because if you're thinking about walking in the desert, right? You're walking the desert on a horse with no name, and you feel good to be out of the rain, but you're thinking of, when you think of a desert, you're thinking hot, you're hot, you need water, you're dehydrated.
Yeah.
And part of that is then you start to not be able to remember your name. And this one, he's walking in the desert, and it feels good to be out of the rain. You can remember your name.
You can remember your name. Now, that's why I was like, because, my mind says there's a horse with no name, so you can't remember your name. That's the way. So my mind always put can't on it. I don't know how people feel. Don't make any fucking difference. He can't come to you anyway. Right? It don't matter. Yeah. So it don't matter, people. It don't matter. It was something I was listening to the song. And I stopped for a second. I said, well,
and
I always
Danny,
can't.
Well, Texas Danny says the song is very up in air for me as well.
Yeah, it's again, people. I'm not screaming. No, I'm not doing nothing like that. I'm just saying, it had me at a little bit of a curious. I was like, I could have swore it was can't. I always sung it wrong. I always sung you can't remember your name. Can't because you can't remember your name.
I'm not gonna do no whoppers on these because, like I said, it's too hard about like masks and stuff. Because I'll be lying to you to say that I was actually staring at the mask in the movie Scream. I know what the mask basic looked like, but I honestly would not be able to tell you if it was an upside down cherry versus I couldn't.
Yeah.
And it would be fair. So let's go into one of my favorite part of the show is good old God, where is it? Good old Grandpa's World. Grandpa. All right, I'm going to share the screen. I'll let you guys know the title. And like I said, every video that I play for him is actually in the description. So you guys can actually go, sub them. What's this? Hold on. I remember watching some videos pointing out something about the desert being part of a ritual thing, maybe ultra stuff. And there are tons of music videos set in the desert. Okay.
Right? I don't know. Didn't Moses bring people out of a fucking desert? I don't know, 40 years.
Isn't it a desert where Jesus saw a burning bush and it was God talking to him?
No, that was Moses.
Oh, that was Moses? Oh, see, guys, you can tell that I don't read the Bible. All right, here we go. This is called Two Women Terrorized by Aliens. They were house sitting a very small house out in the country. So this story is about two women who got terrorized by women. So here we go. Let me go here and we play our friend.
Hi, this is Grandpa. Welcome to Grandpa's World. UFO sightings, aliens, and abductions. I believe they're still in Missouri. Lights and clear skies, unusual working, aliens walking and seeing strange and unexplainable, unbelievable things occurring. The unexplained, finally explained, but unproven. Each and every one of these stories has no way to explain them. Now, it seems that MUFON.com sent the story to newfork.org for them to check out. Okay, so it seems that Ginger and Marianne were house sitting. It was a one-bedroom house in the boonies. It was supposed to be spending the night, well, actually 2 nights. The house wasn't nice or clean. He had a water cooler to cool the house with. The woman went to bed around 3 a.m. when a very bright light shone in through the window. When it surrounded the lights coming through us, it was surrounded by a metal barn, trees, and another barn. So there was no way for a vehicle to get in to shine lights into the house. The lights seemed to scan each room of the house through all the windows. This event took about 2 hours and left. Later that night, Ginger and her boyfriend went back to stay at the house for the second night. The lights came back, but this time they came on an earlier time. Ginger was scared, so she called her parents to come and get her. So yes, she left her boyfriend at the very scary house. He contacted her at 12:30 and told her the strange lights were gone. Ginger and her boyfriend searched the grounds for any tire marks, footprints. They looked for broken branches. They walked on the grass, just looked for anything different. Ginger's dad is a retired psychologist. He also is a UFO investigator, and he cannot explain the lights. His brother served in the military. So there's another one for Grandpa's World. We'll see you later on. Have a good one.
That's pretty good.
No,
That's
that's
pretty good.
because what he's trying to back it up as, he had a person who actually does investigate UFOs, and when he mentioned about the person being in the military, because people in the military always investigate, before they jump to conclusions.
Oh yeah.
Find the truth. So that was decent. Now, what's interesting about the bright lights is the time that it happened around 3:00 in the morning, because that's usually around devil hours or demon hours, where demons or ghosts are supposed to come out even more. So if you think about 3 a.m., what if technically that wasn't technically UFOs? It was an alien form, a big bright orb or something, because during that 3:00 time.
Yeah. And it's the thinnest, it's the bewitching hour, what do you want to call it, 3:00? It's the thinnest part of the veil, they say. It's the thinnest veil part. So it's like that's the time where spellcasters do their spell casting. This is where the dead come in and out. This is the thinnest time of the veil. Right, that's that right point where you got the sun coming up and the moon going down. It's like right at that center point. The big switch out. So yeah, oh yeah, the sun is coming up, the moon is going down, and then the demons come in and out and fuck around with things and move your shit and mess with you, Eric. Probably why a lot of people they always say, I'm kind of in that camp too, that extraterrestrials, whatever, are actually interdimensional demons or bad things or whatever things. I don't know. I've never heard me before, but that's the time they come through. Thinnest veil time, man.
Well, I mean,
yeah, probably less, probably the time where there's less. If I were to take a guess at it, at a scientific perspective, it would be the time where you have less radiation. It's the lowest radiation point of the fucking day or night at 3:00 in the morning thing. It's like that's the lowest point of radiation. So it would be easier to come in and go. Hypothetically.
Oh my God. I love this from Texas Danny. 2 women terrorized by 2 women makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, about right. Yeah.
Well, if you talk about
witching hour,
I'm not here to say women are weaker than men. I'm not here to say that. But by nature, on average, men are stronger than women. That's just nature fact. That's just a fact. There's some women stronger than men.
In some areas, I call it some areas.
Men are designed to be hunters. I'm not putting out women, but women are more designed because they give life. They give, babies and stuff in the world. So if you're an alien coming to Earth, and if you're gonna experiment, you're gonna do whatever they do, you're probably more likely to go after the women versus the men, because the women will have less fight than men. I'm not saying all women, but more on average, a woman would be easier, because I hate to say this word, but women get raped more than men, because on average women are a little weaker than men. So maybe aliens, when they go out, they look for the weakest of the humans to do their thing. Well, less resistance.
I'm sure they're doing something. I mean, if you're going to choose a woman, you're going to be doing something with like fertilization. You're going to be doing something with creation. You're going to be doing something with making a baby. And then you're going to pick a man for a specific thing, or you're going to milk that fucker, and then you're going to implant this gal. They have their difference is in stories from abductions. Obviously, big difference in stories.
The moon represents darkness. Then would you want to open a door that pushes it back?
Oh yeah, 3:00 in the morning. Or was it 3:30? 3:33 in the morning. He said as Donald Trump would say, 3:33, 3:33. Everything that guy says is 3:33. You can look up right now, Eric, on fucking YouTube, Donald Trump and 33, and you'll have tons of shit him saying 33. So maybe they're all hinting around at 33 in the morning. I don't know. I don't know.
What did he say? Flatcar Music wrote, "It's just a fact. It doesn't bite. But you would think it did. I saw a video where this guy went around asking, are men stronger than women? And you could have heard the ridiculous pondering."
Oh God, yeah. That's why I don't go to that. I don't go there. I won't go there because there are areas where women are way stronger than men, and there's areas where men are physically stronger in doing that. But there's other areas of women that can have babies, and a man will cry. A man gets a hangnail and fucking cries. A woman has a baby, and she's like, "What are you talking about with a hangnail?"
If you ask me who's mentally stronger, I would say women are mentally stronger than men.
Yeah,
it's mentally stronger because giving birth does not look easy, does not look fun. And like you said, if that movie Quipped, where Arnold Schwarzenegger got pregnant and they couldn't do a C-section, if that that baby had to come out of his asshole, he was crying like a little bitch.
Yeah, and remember, I was like the first officer of the Navy to have females on a ship out at sea, the first ship to have females out at sea, and I was in charge of the gals. And after a while, after a few months, they were tough as fucking nails, man. They were tougher than the men. I'm going to say it right now. My gals were the toughest, tougher than men. I made them tougher than the men. You got to work twice as hard, I told them. You got to prove yourself twice as much. You got to.
If I had a corporation, I don't know, maybe one day we'll have a corporation. Maybe Gypsy Road Productions becomes super huge. Most of my cabinet would be women because women are more dedicated, in my opinion, as men. Because men are more. I'm not saying all men are women, but men are more greed with money than most species on this planet. Where women are more gatherers. They're gatherings. They want access for everything. Men are selfish. Men want more power to themselves on average.
Yeah.
So if I want to grow as a strong company, I'm looking for smart women versus men. Yeah. I know I will get the best. Now you're going to have a bad apple no matter what they are. But what is this? Yeah. What did you say here? Of course, women tend to have better pain tolerance. Oh, exactly, 100%. That's the kind of strength too. Women also deal with pressure where some of us crumble. That's all. Yeah.
All the guys are backing up. Yeah, just for disclaimer, Eric and I did not have a mother growing up. We didn't have a mother. Most people, the majority of people will have a missing father, and they have a strong mother that takes care of them, which is awesome. Eric and I didn't have a mother. We didn't have no mom growing up, so we had just a dad. Dad had to play mom and dad. So we have a little bit. We have a little bit of a standoff look at our opinions because we have a different opinion because we see them from afar or we see them up close from personal experience. I was ironically in charge of gals in the Navy, so we have a different take on it than most guys. So I stay out of it. I try not to make too many opinions about it because I know they're tough as fucking nails. So, that's why our opinion might be a little bit different than most people. We had that different kind of lifestyle.
I got to read this. This is hilarious. Yeah. This is just a joke, people. I love it. Women are great housekeepers. Both my ex-wives kept the house.
Yeah.
Female redheads more a pain threshold than men. Hey, even redheads have more threshold than men. Redheads rule.
Redhead. I'll have a baby.
Let's go into
welcome to What the Fuck News.
All right, I'm gonna pull up Bob's first. I don't really have something. I do, but I didn't get a chance to really deep down read it. But let's see what Bob has. I see Bob's doing an Eddie here. Okay. All right, here we go. Here we go, people. Make sure I can see it here. I can't see it on the screen. Perfect. The volume's up. Okay, here we go.
In the commentary people, for a beautiful day in the neighborhood, whatever you want to fucking think about. Now, you're sitting around drinking your Starbucks coffee, and on your Starbucks coffee, a lot of you remember a whole different image. It's, Starbucks, it was the whatever mermaid, but it's changed, and now it's Melusina. And Melusina is the ancient ancestor of all the elites in the world, families, and all that fun stuff that turns into a dragon. It's a whole different show I did. But keep an eye out because Melusina is now Abraxas. Now, Abraxas is a cock. Now, some of you might think about what god do I worship in this beautiful, cool-ass comic book. You should start worshiping a cock. Now, cock's a beautiful thing. Now, there's a cock out there called Abraxas, and it's a rooster-headed, same thing as Melusina, which is human female with the snake legs. It seems to be the queen of all the royals. But now you've got a cock. A cock's in charge. A male cock, no longer a female. It's a rooster's head. In fact, in this fucking comic book, in this time now, the Freemasons have always known about the Abraxas, which is a cock with snake legs. And he's all over everything. And he's in history. He's all over the place. And so let you guys know, this is what the fuck, because I've never heard of an Abraxas. I've never heard of it. Now, this gets really weird because of those of you who went to the university or whatever have you, there's Carl Jung. And Carl Jung is a famous psychologist. He wrote many, many books, who wrote a book on the Abraxas, which again is a cockhead. It's a cockhead on a serpent's body, and he's the god of all the gods. He's even higher than the Jehovah himself. He's higher than the devil. He's higher than everything. He's a big ass cock. So keep your eye out for a roosted-headed new god. For those of you looking for a god right now, now forget about Jesus and forget about all the other pantheons of gods. Let's worry about this large-ass cock man. This cock man is in all of your history. He's got amulets. He's got coins. He's got lots of things. And in fact, he is with Aleister Crowley's book. He's in many books. Apparently, he's always been there, this cock man. I've never heard of him, but this is what the fuck news. And I'm saying what the fuck. Keep your eye out for the Abraxas. The Abraxas is coming near you, and it's a new place, the new thing to worship. Think about it. You're worshiping a cock. All right, you have a wonderful day.
Well, what I learned there is you like that cock.
Yeah, there is a new cock god. Yeah. I'm going to have you look him up. Now, a lot of people are going to freak the fuck out. Now, I never heard of it. I went to the university. I studied mythology. I studied a lot of different cultures and certain gods and pantheons, and I've learned a lot. I wrote a lot of papers. But there is this god now. Now, he looks like the Baphomet. Now, you guys imagine the Baphomet sitting there with a Baphomet like this, but with a cock's head, with a rooster's head. I go, what? The fuck is that? I've never seen anything like that before. It's in old literature. It's Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, wrote a book about the Abraxas. Look him up, Eric. It's how you spell like abracadabra. That's where abracadabra came from. They said. I'm like, what?
Let me pull up a Google. I was trying to find a picture because I actually have a picture of a beer that's called cock beer. But what do you want me to type?
The Abraxas, which is A B R A. Abra.
Every time I type that in, I get Abra braces.
No, get Abra. ABRA. It is XAXS.
Abraxas. There it is. Abraxas.
Area.
Abraxas. And you want me to pull up what, a story, or what is Abraxas?
You can pull up a picture of him first so people can see this thing. It's apparently with the. Now, I was a Freemason. I've never heard of this fucker. I've never heard of this in no Freemason. Aleister Crowley had a shit written about this fucking thing. I go, what is it? There he is. So this the one no, not that one. Go down. Go to the other ones. Right there. You read that one. Yeah, let's try that one. There's one, and then the one next to it. There you go. So that's that one. That's the Abraxas, people. It's like higher. It's supposed to be higher, according to Carl Jung. It's higher than the Hebrew god and the devil. He's the highest thing you can go. He's got 2 snake legs and a rooster's head. He's like the one. Look, he's holding the noose. There's other ones that make him look like a he looks like the Baphomet. Here, I got one. Show this one. Oh, hold on. Take a look. Oh, we got the look at him, man. Look at that fucker. It looks like the Baphomet. He looks like the Baphomet. He's the Baphomet with a rooster's head. You see him?
Yeah.
He's apparently been around. He's been around. He's been around since the Babylonians. He's been around since the Sumerians. This fucking cockhead. This cockhead god.
I found that picture.
Yeah.
Ginger beer, cock and bull.
Cock and bull. Well, now it's there. Now it's in history. Now it's in mythology. This thing is in mythology. And so, again, if you look at him, a lot of times I'll have him sitting around. Oh, so, okay, someone remembers the Braxix. Okay, I have never seen it. And I'm not calling it any effect. I'm saying I have never seen it before.
There's a lot of gods.
Right? Apparently, it's even in Egyptian mythology. It's in Egyptian mythology. And so he's got two snake heads or two snake feet. And his snake feet are just like I joked about your Starbucks cup. It's the Melusina story, the Master Creepier. Yeah, it's the Melusine story with the female. She's a half. She was half fairy, and she was a fairy, and then she had a daughter. She had some daughters with a king, and then they had half breeds. You know,
where is it?
But that was the Melusine story. It was human.
Abraxas was the name of a character in Tron Evolution.
Wow.
Did you know that?
Wow. Maybe they've changed the picture. I've never seen I've never seen anything look like that. I've never seen anything that looked like it was a like the Baphomet in a Baphomet sit down pose with a rooster's head. No, man, I haven't seen that. I haven't. I'm not calling it no effect. I'm just saying this thing is dominant now. It's really in literature. It's popping up in literature that I have never seen it in. I never heard of Carl Jung, the famous psychiatrist, write a whole book on him. He wrote a whole book on him, and Carl Jung worked with Sigmund Freud. So Sigmund Freud wrote about him. So when the fuck did Sigmund Freud or Carl Jung or any psychologist write about that Brax? Or Aleister Crowley, the rooster head fucker. You
know what I wish we could do?
What's that?
This is totally off subject. Totally off subject. We got our friend in the chat, System Failure, right? Remember when System Failure showed that picture of that cock soup and showed him behind those cops? I would love him to take that cock soup and a cock beer and do a live with us where he walks to a cop and give him cock soup and a cock beer. And
there you go.
And maybe get a picture of your Abraxas cock.
Yeah, just tell him that
here's a lot of cock.
If they try to harass him, he say, I'm expressing free religion. I'm expressing free religion. I worship the Abraxas, the Abraxas. That's my God. And he'll give him a couple of fucking Freemason symbols, kind of do the whole fucking symbol shit. He'll be fine. Just tell him it's my religion. I worship the Abraxas. Just like all these other fucking secret societies, all of a sudden, I'm like, what the fuck did this thing make its way into the secret societies, man? Never heard of this thing. I've just never heard of this thing. Now, it was probably there, but it was probably obscure and small. I don't know why they're hyping it.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Sister Perry said he will do that. He will get the cock soup and the cock beer and the picture of Abraxas.
He's gonna wear the Abraxas T-shirt and say, "This is my God." I worship this cockhead. I worship the cock. This is the cock. I mean, Baphomet. People are screaming about Baphomet having some fucking weird ass. It's got like a third ass horn coming up with a fire in it. So now he could walk up to a cop and show him this. This is where we're headed now, Eric. We're headed towards the cock, man.
Have a cock soup and a ginger beer cock and bowl, and cock flavor soup. Dude,
Yeah.
what do you get? And you know what? Sister Failure's got the right attitude. Laugh out loud, anything for a laugh. That's what life is about. Having a good laugh, having a fun time. And Sister Failure himself actually got his channel knocked down. So he actually has a second channel.
A lot of people did.
Everybody's getting knocked down. Vampires are real today. They're drinking kids' blood. Yeah, we're gonna be getting into
that. Yeah, I agree with you.
Guys, I try to do things, but just so everybody knows that what I try to do, I try to get everything in a time limit. Okay, so like when I start getting into the main topic, I try to get it right at 12 o'clock. And the reason I do that, Bob, is I cut the video up and I upload the main topic into Instagram. Yeah. And we got a lot of great Instagram people that actually been watching these videos. I'm getting 100 views with these videos. But the difference is on Instagram versus YouTube, you could go on forever. Instagram has to be 1 hour. If it's 1 hour, you can't make it. So that's why I try to time this all. But so what I'll do is, since we got 6 minutes left, I'll bring up the story that I didn't have a chance to read yet, but I'll show you. I'll show you what we're talking about, and maybe we can make something out of it. I'll make something out of it. That sounds weird. Well, there's a study here. Here, let me get this. Let me get the study in the chat in case anybody wants to read it themselves.
Wow.
And I didn't get a chance to really dive in to read it to get you the key points of it, because the study I was interested in is called Paradox. Free time travel is possible in theory. And it's just intriguing because the word free time travel is possible. Now, I didn't know that time travel even costs money to even do time travel. Maybe you do got to pay a fee. But if you thought you could go and fix mistakes of your past, boy, are you in for a disappointment. That's why I wanted to read this more deeply, but if you thought you could go into time travel and fix, you're in it for a disappointment, which, Bob, like you and I were talking about sometimes about time travel, that all because if time travel is possible, it doesn't automatically mean if you change something, you're going to see the changes. The changes might happen in an altered universe, but within our universe might still be the same, because that's what our brains know at that time. So
yeah,
when you hear this, I'm going to look in here for key points, Bob. When you hear this, but if you thought you could go and fix mistakes of the past, boy, you're in a disappointment. What do you think of that when you hear?
What's that? Do I think of time travel?
But if you time travel, do you think that you're not going to be able to fix the past by going back in time?
Yeah, that's that little paradox that people talk about with physicists. They talk about, like, if I went to the past right now, I would just be gone. Like, okay, so I just went missing, and your life's going to continue. Nothing's going to change. Because if I go from here, once I leave this point A, I'm going to be going back. I'm going to be landing not on point A, but point B. And so the line forward from point B forward, your other self, the other Eric, and another reality will see the changes. But you presently here right now won't see any changes. I'm just going to be missing. But you go on and live and die. But there's a thing about that people don't know about. You got to remember, sometimes if you do have coexisting realities in the same space at the same time, same space, sharing the same space. For example, like they talk about the Mandela effects. I'm just going to use that. There's several incidences in the military where, like, for example, there was some ships in this present time that was in the World War II that was sunk by a U-boat. Okay, back on, say, another time in Sagittarius with other memories, there's a boat. That same boat was sunk by a U-boat, but in a different area. Then you come to this timeline where you remember in this place, it wasn't sunk in that same area. However, it was sunk several days later in a different area. So what I'm trying to say is it's kind of like that movie, Final Destination.
Yeah.
Where whatever happens in one has to happen in the other. It has to correct itself. Because
there's been a fresh study by scientists at the University of Queensland, Australia. And it talks about, like, the study leads the German Tobar, a fourth-year Bachelor of Advanced Science, set out to resolve one question with his research. I wonder, is time travel mathematically possible? There are some high mathematics-based issues when it comes to time travel. According to Tobar, these problems are grounded into prevailing theories of physics about our universe, classical dynamics, and Einstein's famous theory of relativity. Now, Bob, when you had a vision of time travel and you wrote it down, you didn't even know you wrote it down.
I didn't know I wrote it down.
You wrote it down in a mathematic base, not of what you need to build, but you drew in a mathematic base, which what these people say.
Yeah, in 2009 on Facebook, I went to, and after it was 2016 around June or July when I had this weird epiphany thingy, I went to look at my Facebook and I saw in 2009 I wrote about a time travel equation and stuff. I said, I have to fucking write that. What the fuck? It's my writing. It's my methodology. It's the way I write shit. And then a lot of things that I wrote, I tell people, always go back and look at your stuff. I put it on a pillow so I can have it. So I keep it with me. And so I wrote this, and I have no memory of writing it. I have no memory, but it's me. It's the me here. So what I'm saying is, what happens in one place happens in another place, but it might happen differently. It happens differently. Like, it has to readjust itself. So if you died in this one place, you got to die in the other place, but it might not happen that same day. It might happen the next day. If you take a bullet, Eric, and I went back in time and you were shot by somebody, and I went back in time, I grabbed the pistol and I took the pistol and I took it away, and that guy, whoever shot you, couldn't find the pistol. You weren't shot that day, but you walk down the street and you get hit by a car. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You're going to have to die. It's because if you don't die that day, you're going to disrupt the entire rest of that line. You can't live. So the way it works is the way life has to fix itself. So I can go back and do whatever the fuck I can and try to stop something, but it's going to correct itself. Recalculating.
What's cool about this article, I didn't even know there's a picture of Nelson Mandela all over in the picture. I did not know that it says deja vu all over again, introducing the Mandela effect. I did not know this
was in there.
But, the paradox problems, I mean, they even talks about here, but it's not only mathematics where the idea of time travel gets complicated. We also have to consider the paradox. Basically, a paradox is what happens when you go change something in the past. However, changing that thing would remove the reasons you ever went back in time. Oh, that's interesting. Say you travel in time to attempt to stop COVID-19. Patient 0 from being exposed to the virus, says Tubar, using the ongoing pandemic as an example. However, if you stop that individual from becoming infected, that would eliminate the motivation for you to go back to stop the pandemic, even in the first place. The possibility of the paradox is a logical flaw that some scientists says prove that time travel is impossible. Others says that you might be able to go back to the past, but you'd be unable to do anything that would cause a paradox in the future. So that is very interesting. So basically, if you go back in time to stop the guy from spreading the virus, going back in time for you, even in the first place to stop, would never happen. So
see, that's what I'm saying. It won't work that way. It's like a movie already made. So you got a movie, you're watching a movie on a movie screen. The movie, it starts from beginning to the end. It's a movie. You can't go back into a movie. Somehow, magically, you figured out how to go back into that movie. You go back into the movie. that movie, no matter how many times you try to change something, is going to want to finish itself exactly the same way as it started. It's going to want to finish the movie to the end. So if you go back, Eric, to kill that guy or to stop the guy from spreading the virus, you stop him, and as you're carrying him out, somebody else comes in. See, it's gonna fix itself. It's like a Final Destination. It's easier to fix the problem there than to have you remove it completely and change the entire future. Nature will fix itself. It will always fix itself. So if you remove the guy that started the virus from ground zero, somebody else, his Padawan learner, his assistant's going to come in and finish his work. And there it goes right back out again. And the whole chain reaction starts right back to normal again. It ain't going to happen.
You know what? It ain't gonna happen. I clicked on that picture of Nelson Mandela. Oh. We might have to do an own show just on this article itself. Deja vu all over again, introducing the Mandela effect. And it talks about stuff, and it talks about, I don't want to get into it now, but it also has a survey with this Mandela effect test. This might be something fun to do on air to all of us this test.
Where the hell's that been hiding?
I might have, you know what? It might have been a calling for us, for me to look at this article about this time travel to be able to get to this, because I never knew this article was connected to that one.
Yeah. That's that's how it works, dude. That's how it always works. Like the subject I did today on the abracus, the abraxas, whatever. I did that, Eric, because yesterday I got a copyright on one of the videos I did on the Melusine lady. I'm talking like the Starbucks lady with the legs. And I go, oh, man, I got a copyright on the Melusine lady. Now, every time it copyrights something in a video, I look at the video and I say, maybe this is a sign. And I usually look at the song, the name of the song that's copyrighted, and I go, okay, so this is giving me a sign for something. Then I went ahead and looked up Melusine again, Melusina, and all of a sudden I seen that fucking rooster-headed guy. And I go, what the fuck is that thing? And then it led me down what I call like the rabbit hole. I hate using that word, but I got led down a bunch of fucking holes, and I was like, whoa, I learned all kinds of new shit based off the one copyright. Just popped out of nowhere. Like you just did that, then that pops up, and then you follow that, then you follow this, and then you follow that, and you find something all new again.
And for that part, you're right. Even if the virus is a hoax, whatever, yeah, to stop the hoax, yeah, time travel, yeah, I get that. What he's saying there too. So let's get into that's. Like I said, time travel, you could do a 24-hour show. Just the thoughts of
it any way you want.
In it, because we don't know. We've never done it. We don't know what could happen. We just don't know.
We don't know. Maybe some of us have done it. Maybe you don't know it because you're here, but another one of you did it over there. So if you did it, Eric, you know what it reminds me of? You remember that movie, Last Starfighter? You remember how the Last Starfighter goes off to save the galaxy? And they put a replacement in this spot. Remember that guy? You remember the replacement, Last Starfighter replacement guy? It looks just like him, thinks just like him, does everything. He knows everybody there at the trailer park. I mean, because he's him, but he's a replacement him. So what if everybody in this place, you are just simply a replacement person for your other self that's actually doing something in another reality? You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's a mind bender.
Well, that's kind of funny that you. Well, actually, I have the picture behind me, the Last Starfighter.
The Last Starfighter, yeah. So because we all have the limbo rings, just like a brand new baby. So we're all like we're the replacements for the actual Starfighter that's out fighting. We're the replacement.
You mentioned it because I'm going to be doing a show on Instagram live about breaking this down on how this movie is a documentary of people's lives.
Last Starfighter, yeah.
Yeah, because people will be thinking, how is it a documentary of people's lives? Trust me, it is. Trust me.
What if everybody here is that clone for the Last Starfighter? You just don't know it. How the hell do you know if you're a clone? How do you guys know that you're a replacement for yourself doing something more significant somewhere else? So if you on the other side, in another reality, if you bang your leg and hurt your knee, you might bang your knee here to match up the pain. So it evens itself out. See what I'm saying? If you trip over there, you might trip on a different rock over here, but you're going to trip.
All right. Now, okay, guys, we're going to be talking vampires now. Okay, now, first of all, I put up a poll yesterday. I did it yesterday. I made sure I did it the day before to get a lot more votes into it. So it's a basic question. Basic poll question. Do you believe in vampires? You can't get more simple than that. Okay. Now there's been actually 30 people that voted so far, and 70% says yes, 7% says no, and if the answer is yes, do you believe that Bob is a vampire? And 23% of people think that Bob yourself is a vampire. And now there's energy vampires, yes. Flat Plain Oregon said yes. Crunchy Beat, yeah. I just don't think they turn into bats or have fangs, but they drink blood and probably live a long life. I believe in real vampires, but not what Hollywood would say. More so, they are energy-sucking vampires. I like that, giving them a heart. I would say yes, but I said no because the meaning of vampires, they say they aren't the real ones. I guess maybe they exist, maybe not. You should have a maybe section. That's true. You know what? He's right. I should have added a maybe to it. I didn't think about that. Usually vampires is basically yes or no, because when there is a real guy named Count Drac. There is a real person who murdered people and thought that drinking their blood will give him, life, give him expanded life. And so there is a real guy where the story came from. But the question is, are vampires kind of real? And here's another person. Another person sent me this. Hold on. About what does people on a bigger quiz, not just mine, get me? Let me see right here. Can you see it? Okay. There was a bigger survey. Because I don't think my 30 people might count as a survey for the American people, which I think my channel should be big enough, but I guess not. 45% of Americans believe that ghosts and demons exist. Hold on. And vampires is on here too. So now this is a bigger poll that says 46% people do believe in the supernatural. 45% believes in demons, and 45% believes in ghosts, and 13% believes in vampires. Now,
oh yeah,
well, you could say that vampires could, in a small way, can be related to demons. I mean, do you really know if somebody comes out with fangs is a vampire or a demon? You could say they're both almost. Now here. The lesser commons believe that vampires live among us. Only 13% of Americans say that vampires definitely exist. There's no saying that a vampire is not a demon, right? Now, this is what's interesting right here. This is what I like. Demons, right? Republicans are more likely to believe in demons versus Democrats. Now, that makes sense because Republicans technically are more religious versus Democrats. There's more religion. So if you're religion, if you believe in God, you have to believe in the devil. You have to believe in demons. Okay, you have to. If you believe in heaven, then you have to believe in hell. And Republicans are more religious than Democrats. That's just a fact. Okay, supernatural beings, 50% of Republicans, 41%. Now, again, if you believe in heaven and the God, you're kind of believing in the supernatural in a lot of ways. But it is closer, it is closer because that makes sense because they're not really saying supernatural or actually demons. So Democrats can believe in supernatural more because you're not relating that too much to the demons. Now for ghosts, that's even closer. 40% Republicans, 41% Democrats makes a lot of sense because if you believe in God, if you see angels, you might think that's a ghost. Okay. Democrats sees a lot of ghosts. So you can see here that Democrats and Republicans, that's kind of weird, right? You're breaking the people in half because I'm an independent. But this is just for fun, guys. This is just for fun. That Republicans and Democrats are more on board in believing in supernatural and ghosts than demons. Democrats believe in demons the less because Democrats are less religious than Republicans. On average. I'm not saying you, Democrat, that if you're religious, that you're part of this. I'm just saying on average. Now, vampires, 14%. Now, that's because most Republicans are vampires themselves, sucking your blood, sucking your money away. So that's easy. And vampires, 8% for Democrats was because Democrats like to suck your blood too. They just don't tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a philosophy when I was in the military. The difference between serving in a Republican military and a Democrat military is that in a Republican military, whenever you go out on campaign, they film everything on camera. Everything's on camera. It's right there. Everyone is out. Everyone's dressed up. It's all CNN's there. Everyone's all there. All the news is allowed to come in. But when a Democrat's in office, the military is quiet. There's no cameras allowed anywhere. There's nobody on campaign. Everything is shh. Democrats keep it quiet.
Now,
because they don't want nobody knowing about it.
This is what the witch goddess wrote. Vampires are real. They have no reflection. Think about that. What would happen if we or something do not have a physical or mental physical reflection?
Mirror, mirror on the wall. True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Do you have a reflection, Eric?
Let me see. That's a good question. I got a mirror right in that bathroom. Let me go tell you. Let me go look real quick and let you know for a fact.
Don't leave me alone with these people.
Well,
we might say bad things about you when you're gone.
Well, I just looked, and unfortunately, I do have a reflection.
I do not have a reflection. I am vampire.
Yeah, I do have a reflection. I'm sorry to break people's hearts. I know they wanted me to be a vampire. So Democrats don't believe in themselves. Guys, we're not a political channel, but let me just tell you how it works. Republicans are crooks. Democrats are crooks themselves, but they just hide it. They're all crooks.
They're all related.
We should all be independent. Be independent.
There are H-negative blood cousins. People
Vampires are all across political lines, all over the world.
They are related by blood. It even says in the Bible, in Deuteronomy, it's all about the blood. It's in Deuteronomy. I can't remember the fucking number. That's on the top of my head. But look up Deuteronomy, and there's this thing about the blood being valuable. Really, 23. I gotta look it up. Hold on. Deuteronomy. It's about vampires.
But you know,
it's 1223. Got it. 1223 Deuteronomy. Look it up. 1223 Deuteronomy. It's about the blood and all the elites. So I think Biden is related to fucking to the Republicans, and the Republicans are related to the fucking Democrats. Are all cousins, man. Cousins. This is not a lie. This is not even a theory. This is not even a fucking, what they call it, a conspiracy. It's a fact. They're related to the royal family.
Now this is part of the story about vampires in the UK. It says here in an article, and if anybody wants to have this article for themselves, I'm going to put this article in the chat. This is not something we're making up. Oh, hold on.
He said it himself.
Hold on. I'm putting. I never posted the other one about the paradox of free time travel, but here's the one about the UK. I'm putting it in right now. Okay, now it's in the chat. Here we go. Now, in this one, it says Romanian tourist board to use alleged links between British royalty and Dracula to boost UK visitor numbers. Now, if you read that, of course, it's making it sound like it's made up just to get more visitors. But it says here, last year, royal family's ancestry has been linked to Vlad the Impaler. So basically, it's saying that's related to Vlad. Now, the Vlad is the guy who used to murder people so he can take blood from them, so he can drink it, believing that it will give him extended life. They're not saying he had fangs like the vampire story or the Dracula story. It's just saying that they're related to that madman. Last year, Prince Charles made reference to his ancestral links to the 15th century tyrant. Vlad Impaler inspired Bram Stoker's Dracula villain. Yeah, it inspired the Dracula story. And now, here we go. The Romanian Tourist Board plans to promote. Now the Romanians are going to promote this relation. Well, because why not? If they're related, why not promote it? It's free money, and people are going to visit because the UK. Now, Bob, you're in the UK, so you tell me right off the bat, what is the connection between the royal family and the vampires?
Well, according to their family tree, they are related to Vlad, or Charles is related to Vlad the Impaler. In fact, if you take a look at Vlad the Impaler, you're going to see. Now, I'm going to go into anthropology here, guys. You're going to see a pretty. This is from inbreeding. Now, this is an actual condition from inbreeding. If you look at Vlad the Impaler's face, you're going to see that extra large chin that sticks out. You're going to see the bulbous cheeks in the eyes. Those are all from bottleneck genetics. It's from inbreeding. Now, Charles himself has the chin and certain almost identical features to this cocksucker, Vlad the Impaler. Now, he is related to the royal family. Now, they're all related to people, including, and they came from Germany. Now, the royals here in England came from Germany. Okay, so their last name is not real. It's something they picked for England so the English people could be more acceptable of them. But they have a German last name. Nothing wrong with Germans. I'm just saying they're from German lineage. All of the royal families across the board, all through the centuries, right down to the emperors in Rome, are related. Rh negative bloodline. Now, Charles is Rho negative. Vlad the Impaler is Rho negative. He's related to them. So he knows it. He's even got the pictures. He went there, Eric, to Transylvania to visit the castle and says it on camera for people to see it. And now he didn't just say it because he under his breath. He boasted it.
Well, it says right here, Bob. It says right here. The genealogy shows I am descended from Vlad the Impaler. So I do have a bit of a stake in the country, he quipped.
Yeah. So he is claiming the right to rule that area. I mean, he was his family was the rulers, the ruling class. He is putting a stake in, said, I'm related to Vlad the Impaler, Dracula, the dragon. Now, remember, Dracula comes from the dragon. And all of the royals, and this is why I brought up the earlier subject of Melusina. Melusina was a fairy who married a king who had offsprings that were female. One of those females married also another king, and that king couldn't see her on a Saturday. Saturn Day. Couldn't see her on a Saturday. One day he saw her on a Saturday. She left, but she still had children with him, and they've carried down the line. Now, she herself went off to become a dragon. She went off to become a dragon. So these families consider themselves related in mythology to that dragon. You understand that? That dragon. So Dracula comes from the dragon family. The dragon family. All of the royals, including Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, RH negatives, consider themselves related to the dragons, or as Tomicon talks about the sun god, Mithras or Mithra or whatever. All of them will all intertwine back to the female, the grand female dragon, the dragon. So they all go back to they're descendants of the dragon, which gives them, everyone says that, well, the royal family, they're a bunch of fucking lizards. They're reptiles. Well, they consider themselves reptiles because they're related to the dragon. They take it with pride. Now, David Icke, which is a cocksucker, wrote many books on it. He himself is RH negative blood, and he himself is related to the dragon. So I don't know why he writes his shit. He's just a misinformation guy like Alex Jones. But he, Eric, talks about how the bloodlines are related to the dragon. And so back to Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler is, or Dracula, the dragon line. And so he's proud, Eric, when he says he's related to the dragon line. So Charles is related to the dragon line, and so is the family. So yeah, back to Dracula.
Well, it says here, it is believed that Queen Mary consort basically had sex of George V. Charles' great grandfather was related to not have sex, but consort of George V. Charles' great-grandfather was related to the 15th century slayer. What is certain is that George V.'s cousins married the crown prince of Romania and went on to rule the Eastern European country after the First World War. Now here's a picture tracing back. I believe that Queen Mary, Charles' great-grandfather was related. Of course, I don't know. Is that a real picture? Or is that just a fake picture of two people?
No, that's real, but those crowns have completely changed from my memory. I can't remember. I don't remember them crowns looking that way. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if anybody else remembers the crowns, but I can tell you right now, it didn't look like that. In fact, that thing on top, what the fuck is that thing on top? I don't remember that rod on top. It reminds me of the Baphomet. Now, the Baphomet now has a third object in the middle of his forehead. It's got a flame on it. It reminds me of that crown. They look like the Baphomet now with a Baphomet head. But anyway, yeah. So the dad, man, remember they all married fifth cousins, at the latest fifth cousins.
Now,
first cousins, second cousins, third cousins, fourth cousins, and at the latest fifth cousins. All cousins.
What's in this blue? It says how the royal family linked to the Count Dracula. Now, in the blue, Vlad the Impaler, who inspired Bram Stoker's Dracula, is tied to Britain's royal family, both genealogy and through the medical condition that suffers a thirst for blood. Now, this is what it's saying here. It says to genealogy and through the medical condition that suffers a thirst for blood. Okay, it is believed that Queen Mary, it just repeats it, who was also of George, who related to 15th century Vlad the Impaler, who was also known as Dracula. Vlad is said to have dispatched more than 100,000 Turkish warriors in battle. The vampire legend was fed by his predilections for the eating breed dipped in the victim's blood.
Yeah,
and it is known that Phyphoria is an iron deficiency, which is true to lie behind a vampire's myth and may have spurred Vlad's taste for blood, has run in the royal family. So what they're saying is they have a lack of iron.
Yeah, they're inbred.
Iron for blood.
Yeah, they're inbred. So in order for them to keep surviving, they got to have iron. Well, they can heat it. They can eat it through natural means to the environment, man. Like, you don't have to fucking drink blood for it, but it sure does have a lot of iron in it, and they can sure fucking live off of it. I'll tell you that. Yeah, got no problem with it. And so he used to dip his bread into it. He impaled them on large wooden stakes and let them just run blood. He'd sit there in his table and just drink their blood in a cup and then dip his bread in it and eat it. Yeah. Now, let me say this about Dracula, Eric. Let me give old Vlad a little bit of remorse. I know it's just don't give him no remorse. However, when he was a young kid, dude, he was given to the enemy, the Turk. He was given to the Turks. He was given to them, Eric, as an exchange. Okay. You remember what's that called? That TV show everybody was watching, The Crown, the midget with the midget. You know what I'm talking about? With the dragons, the girl, the queen of the dragons. She had 3 dragons.
Oh, Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Now you remember that the dude that was given to the King of the North. He considered himself kind of a brother. He got his dick. What's his name?
Jon Snow.
No, not Jon Snow. The other one. He got his dick cut off later on.
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
I know what you're talking about.
From the Iron Mountains or from the Iron Islands or something like that. Yeah. I forget his name. He was given to them as an exchange, as a hostage exchange. Well, old Vlad the Impaler, old Vlad there was given as a child. He was a hostage, man. Oh, it got blurry. He was given to them as a hostage, dude. So he had to live with the enemy his entire life. And so they say he was tortured, man. Kind of like that dude was tortured in that TV show. They tortured the shit out of old Vlad there. I'm sure he got buggered more than once in a day. He got buggered every day by them fuckers, man. He got tore up. They buggered the shit out of old Vlad there. They tortured the shit out of him. And so finally, when he broke free and he got back to his kingdoms, he got back, dude. Then he had a little bit of a streak of revenge. He had a little bit of an anger issue because those fuckers really tortured him good as a kid. Remember, he was a hostage exchange his whole life, Eric.
Well, James
was a hostage exchange to the Turks his whole life. So when he got his castle back, he went out full blown crazy, killed the shit out of him, man. They didn't even let him die. He hung him on wooden spikes, still alive. Like he had miles of fucking spikes with just bodies on it. Put living or dead, put them on a spike. Just to scare off any invaders. And he sat out there laughing and eating and drinking their blood.
Which goddess wrote reptilians, cold-blooded and adaptable.
Adaptable, yeah.
Then, I am ORH blood, but fortunately, I was orphaned from the bloodline ties.
Yeah, I'm a no negative, so don't worry about it. You're okay. I'm like Dragon Hunter Z. I'll go after my own kind.
And then Texas Danny, Wells is busy with changes of every kind.
Yeah, Wells is really changing, dude. Very good.
From Wells. So James Torch and Texas Danny should email each other so James Torch can verify what changes of the lands that's been doing.
Yeah, it's probably because Wales knows I'm the king of Wales and Eric's the Duke of Wales, and so it knows it's preparing itself for us. Now, Eric, they're related to Vlad. They're all back to Melusina, the freaking great dragon lady.
Now this is articles about fact or fiction. Are vampires real? Now, of course, people who write articles are gonna, they're gonna find any way they can denounce vampires anyway. So don't think that I pull this up to dismantle vampires, because if you want to say vampires, if you know vampires are real, but you don't want the public to know, then you come out stories on why vampires aren't real to cover up the real reason why they are real. If that makes sense.
Yes.
Where do vampires come from? Okay, with nearly every culture having its own type of vampires myth, it's hard to find the exact time the idea of vampires was created. Well, we all know vampire started. I mean, the creation of movies and books really started with Vlad. I mean, that's I don't have to go into
Brian Stoker's
the
novel.
science behind the myth. Of course, the science behind the myth. Today, some of more prevalent vampire myths can be explained with science. Well, I mean, first of all, I've said this a million times. If you want to prove something, you can find science that can prove something. If you want to disprove something, you can find science to disapprove. You can find science to make your case or not make your case. That's just a fact. You always find some guy who claims he's a scientist, which are for you and for not. But
always.
I mean, the fear from long ago that dead could still harm the living was only intensified when dead bodies were exhumed and appeared to have blood coming out of their mouths. Now, technically, you could say zombies are vampires. It's just but the zombies that we know on TV don't really have a soul. They don't really talk. But zombies are technically the undead, right, Bob? I mean, is that so you could call The Walking Dead the walking vampires in a lot of ways. And would you be wrong in that part of the story of a theory of vampires being the undead?
Right. Yeah, they're dead. They're all dead. Well, I mean, they're a different kind of dead. They're cursed dead.
Oh.
You know, we talked about the hunger ghost, the ghost they call it the hungry ghost.
Hungry ghost, yes, we did.
They're just like the hungry ghost, but they're still living in their flesh. And they use blood to regenerate. Kind of what they do now. Remember, they do right now, everybody's blood doping. So all of the elites are blood doping. They're all blood doping. If you guys don't remember what it is when they get a blood transfusion. So all the RH negatives are getting RH negative blood transfusions from children. Yeah.
Well,
and so
what's the name of that bike rider who won all those bike riding contests by putting fresh blood in them?
Armstrong.
So technically, you could say Armstrong was doing
the vampire
work by putting fresh blood into his system, so he's able to get energy to finish the race faster than anybody else. So you could say that Armstrong worships the vampires because he used the method of vampires' blood by cleaning the blood.
Silicon Valley. So a lot of people ask me about like they asked me about the cornholio virus, and I don't want to go into that detail, but you know, I always say I like it because it shut down a lot of places. Like in Silicon Valley, they legalized blood doping. So children were going into a clinic to donate blood, and then Silicon Valley fucking millionaires were walking in there and getting their blood put into their bodies. They were getting blood doped, but they had to close them down. They had to close a lot of the blood doping clinics down. So because of this horrific virus that went around, now they can't do it. So before people start saying bad things, you might want to start looking at some of the good things this thing has done. Like there's no more, they're making it hard to blood dope because everybody's contaminated. Everybody's got everyone's got the cornholio virus. So they had to shut down all the blood doping places. The legal blood doping places are closed down because of the fucking cornholio. So let's slow down for these fucking let's get out there and end some shit. Well, I'm seeing a lot of fucking things change for good. I don't know about a lot of people, but I was really researching all the blood doping that's going on, and it's rampant in fucking Hollywood. It's rampant in all the elite circles. Blood doping is number one problem. But now they got to
said it right. It makes them feel young again and live longer, they say.
Yeah. It regenerates their cells. Because their cells are they're dying off. They're old. And now with the young cells that they have They've got like apical meristem. Now they've got the cells that are unprogrammed and stem cells, unprogrammed stem cells, and they're living younger and longer because of the fresh blood.
There's a method in Hollywood that a lot of actresses use because they get older, they get more wrinkles, and instead of smearing like cream, they would smear a certain kind of blood onto their skin to help the skin to look tighter and stuff. So they're doing vampire stuff right now.
Right now, this is why I think, to me, this is why this fucking whatever cornholio happened. I'm seeing plus bonus. I know a lot of people are upset about it, but I'm seeing a whole lot of bonuses happen. Those clinics they can't do it because if you're infected with the cornholio, you can't be giving people blood facials with their blood. Well, they take it from them and put it on their faces. Well, they're not touching your blood no more. You could have the cornholio. So you understand, remember Eric Kardashian made videos on herself getting a blood facial. I used my own blood for my face. She didn't use her own fucking blood for a facial. Liar. Those bitches aren't using their own blood for facials. They're using the donations from the clinics, the legal blood doping clinics down in Silicon Valley. Look it up yourself, do your own research.
This is the definition of blood doping. Blood doping is the practice of boosting the number of red blood cells in the bloodstream in order to enhance athletic performance. Because such blood cells carry oxygen from the lungs to the muscles. A higher concentration in the blood can improve an athlete's aerobic capacity and endurance. That's what it says here. I'm going to see if there's images here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the images is basically.
Oh, yeah. And Donald Trump, everybody. Donald Trump.
A picture of Armstrong is in the blood doping.
Yeah. Remember what Donald Trump said. If you want to be a good American and a damn good fucking citizen, you make sure you go down there and you donate blood to the fucking blood clinic. You guys remember Donald Trump said it? Donate blood. And I'm sure the Democrats are all going, I can't wait to have me some of that fucking fresh blood. I'm sure there's a reason why they're telling you guys to fucking donate fresh blood. Can't wait, vampire fuckers. I'm just saying, nothing I say is real. Everything's here strictly for entertainment.
Now, technically, but can blood doping be dangerous? Because Armstrong did end up getting cancer. One of his testicles is gone. Could what if you did blood doping? What if you're blood doping with now, Bob? I don't know this question. If you're blood doping, if I'm going to blood dope, do I have to blood dope with the exact same kind of blood type I have, or can I blood dope with any kind of blood out there?
Well, you could. So what the royals, the royals, yeah, and the elite, they want to blood dope with Rh negative blood. They want to because it has supposedly has a resistance to diseases. So, Eric, if you want to take anybody's blood for blood doping, you're going to want an Rh negative O. You can only take O because you're an O, so you can only take O. So you could take an Rh negative O's blood, Eric, and you will get all kinds of good stuff in your system, and you'll be resistant to all kinds of diseases, Eric, as long as you keep that blood doping going. Now, you can also get Rh positive blood. So you can get blood doped Rh positive. Now, if you're a B, you could only get blood doped B. If you're an AB, you can get blood doped AB. If you're an O, only O. But, an O negative can go to all the blood groups. So say if you have a child and that child has Rho negative blood and we have 5 adults. Those 5 adults can all drain her from all her blood. They can take her blood continuously like a blood bank. They can always take it. Blood doping.
I know,
all
right?
Blood dopers.
Doping control.
Yeah. They love that blood, man. They love that blood. And I have a theory, and do not quote me on this, people. This is my personal theory from anthropology. Only my theory. Do not take this to the bank. I have a theory that some of these fucking rich ass elites, especially some of these guys in certain circles, they're getting blood. They're Rh positives, but they're getting that fresh blood dope of negative blood, Rh negative blood, and I think that Rh negative blood is giving them cancer. And I say this because Armstrong, Eric, he was taking Rh negative blood, and all of a sudden he got ball cancer. And I know a lot of people who took negative blood thinking they're going to get some good shit out of it, will all of a sudden getting cancer. Uh-oh. That's just my theory, and it's probably wrong. But I think Rh negative blood is giving people with positive blood cancer. Unless you're a baby. Only for children. Now, children can take it and be fine with it, but the old people, I think they're getting. I think that's why so many celebrities are getting cancer and dying.
Oh, look at this!
All of a sudden, that blood is getting to them.
Is it true that the royal family gets blood transfusion regular to help them live longer?
Yeah. It's Rh negative blood, Eric. They can only receive their own blood, which is Rho negative. So they can only receive Rho negative blood. That means somewhere in their little fucking chambers down below. Nothing I say is true, guys. It's strictly for entertainment because it's Halloween. But down beneath their chambers at that castle, wherever they live at, the royal family, they've got children chained up in boxes and chains, and they're milking them for blood.
Well, I'm just trying to find articles, like an article. Is it true the royal family gets blood transfusion regular to help them live longer? And then the royal family may get blood transfusions because they have blood clotting factors deficiency. They got that because their ancestors thought they were above those little people, which is true, and would rather inbreed. I just found this article. I'm not making this shit up. And would rather inbreed with their first cousin than marry someone beneath their status. Royal blood is flawed blood. The kings had bruised arms from factor deficiency, but the common folk thought it was a blessing from the gods. Royal blue is still a color in the crayon box, but medically speaking, it's a problem and a royal curse. So the partially right, getting transfusion may save and extend their lives, but not longer than someone who doesn't have the affliction.
Yeah, it's a royal blood disease. They can't clot, so they'll bleed out. So if they get a bump and you get a bruise on your arm, they're literally hemorrhaging from the inside. They will hemorrhage out and die. Oh, I'm sure they got a steady supply chain. You guarantee it. They're the richest fucking people on the back of this turtle. They got lots of money. And mostly they probably got familiars that come in and sell their blood to them. Willingly sell their blood.
Our friend Nayaka said, women receive Rolgon shots during and right after giving birth to their children to protect both mother and children. Yeah. I know that one because my wife had to get the RH shot after our first child because they said that if they don't, and I'm not here saying it's true or not, but I'm telling you what they told us. So we got the shot. Did I do the right thing or not? I don't know. But what I can say is all three of my kids are healthy. So I can't, Bob, I can't say they should have gotten the RA shot or not. They said she needed it because our blood don't match. My wife's and I blood don't match.
Yeah.
So they said our future kids not to have problems. She had to get the shot.
Yeah,
What do you know about the RH shot?
Remember, they have to get them because the body doesn't a female's body doesn't recognize the child. It's if she's an Rh negative blood, if the mother's Rh negative and the father's Rh positive, her body will reject that child and she will miscarry. That's why back in the days, remember we talked about it before. The Catholic Church had a rule that if you were to get married, you had to go to the Catholic Church, talk to the priest, get permission from the priest. They had to do blood tests. Even back in the day, they could do blood tests. They did blood tests, And if that blood, if that they weren't compatible, and she was a negative and he was a positive, they could not get married. They couldn't do it. Couldn't do it because she'll miscarry. She could die. She could really die. Yeah. So we got to be real careful with shit like that. Yeah. But yeah.
This person is saying this PhD, like I said, guys, I'm not saying what's true and what's not because I don't know. I don't have answers. If I have answers, I wouldn't even be reading this if I had the answer.
I do.
This guy says when someone is healthy, blood transfusions do not help them to live longer. In fact, the opposite is true. Every blood transfusion carries a risk of complications, a very small risk, but a risk nonetheless. This means that when there are zero health benefits to a transfusion because someone already is in excellent health, blood transfusions are detrimental to your health and may even result in them living shorter as opposed to longer.
Well, that's why in Silicon Valley they were asking for children. They were asking for younger people. Older you are, more diseases you carry. That's just life, how life works. That's why they wanted the young ones. That's why they use children to blood dope. Children because their bloods are cleaner. That's the bottom line.
Now, Duncan Wood in the UK, the only reason I'm reading this because Bob, we might be related to Duncan Wood.
Probably are.
Maybe we are related to this Duncan Wood, and maybe you need to go in the UK and find this Duncan Wood so you can have a beer with them. Okay, of course not. A blood transfusion is only given when it's needed, and when one is either extremely anemic or has lost blood or had an operation. Which, okay, the life of a red blood cell is approximately 120 days. But a lot of cells in the blood will be well on their way to the age anyway. This means that if wasn't producing new blood cells in the normal way, the life. I'm not gonna fucking read that. But what's the related question, Bob? Do you think the British royal family are good looking?
Oh no, they're inbreds. They're not good looking. They're all inbred. I mean, they're all different. They come from different fathers. I mean, none of the mothers came or had the same father. Like Charles didn't father them children. We all know that. Everybody knows. They've already proven that. Diana. Yeah, there was a polo player that's the father of a home slice. That's why he split. That's why he took off from England to go live in Hollywood. Princess. What's his name? Henry. Princess Harry. Everyone knows his dad's a fucking polo player. It wasn't Charles. The old Charles with his relation to Vlad the Impaler, piece of shit.
I
want to add something else to this whole thing here.
Yeah,
Count Von Count, known as simply the Count, is a mysterious but friendly vampire Muppet on the long-running show PBS children's television show Sesame Street, who is meant to parody Bela Lugosi portrayal of Count Dracula. He first appeared on the show in the season 4 premiere of 1972 counting sketch. So don't forget, the Muppets also have Count Dracula there, who counts everything. One bottle of blood from a child. Two bottles of blood from a child.
Is there a Bible verse about blood transfusion?
Whoa.
Blood verses about blood transfusion. Bible verses related to blood transfusion from the King James Version by Acts 15:29. Yet abstain from meat offered to idols and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication, from which ye keep yourselves. You should do well as well. Well, I'm not going to pull the Bible because sometimes these links here.
I'll have to double check it. Yeah, I'll have to read that.
Might take you to like viruses and stuff if it's not from a. Yeah. But you might want to check that out, Bob.
I am. I'm going to see what context it's in because we always got to be careful what context It could be a fable, or it could be a fable or a story taken out of context. But I will read that. I will definitely read that. And it's an axe. What was that one again? I'm going to see it one more time. I'm going to write it down. So I'm going to look that. Those of you in the sidebar, look these things up. Do your own research. That's why we have this show. Don't just listen to us. We're entertainers. And besides, Eric and I work for the United States government. We're secretly shills. I'm CIA.
I found that out, and I'm like, I'm still waiting for my checks.
I don't know. They haven't paid me in a while, so I don't know. I want to know, when do I get my CIA package, my retirement package for after all this stuff? Count Dracula, Vampires Count. Oh yeah. So I got a note here. So Count Dracula, I wrote it down, Eric. This is hilarious. I've never heard of this, man. It might be new for people. It's not new, but it's just new for me. Count Dracula used to throw to throw off a vampire, Eric, to deter a vampire from coming into your house. You could take seeds, dude, and throw them out the window. you throw. I've never heard of this, but you could throw seeds out the window, and before that vampire can enter your house, he will stop. He has to stop and count the seeds, or he or she will stop and have to count the seeds. Did you know that? You want to stop a vampire from coming to your house, Eric? Throw a big handful of seeds out. They got to stop and count the seeds. Also, a fishing net. If you throw a fishing net out there, a big old fishing net. If you throw a fishing net outside your house or hanging outside your house when a vampire is around, they can't enter your house without permission anyway, but they won't even attempt to get around your property. They'll have to stop and count each of the threads on the fishing net. That's why they call them Count Dracula. They're obsessed with seeds. I read this.
If I throw seeds in front of you, you have to count them?
No, they have to count them. The vampire will count them, yeah.
So if
you throw a handful of seeds in front of a vampire, they will stop and count the seeds.
Now,
this is the literature.
I look at all these pictures of vampire heads. I look at yours. You got a cute red lipstick around your teeth.
Yeah, I've been drinking blood. I've got blood in my cup. You said I'm an RH negative, so I'm legally able to drink blood just like the royal family. I'm gonna be a king, so I'm getting used to it.
You know, I can't.
I don't want to blood dope it. I just want to drink it.
I'm gonna kill my son for trading chairs because this chair fucking. I'm bending down now. I'm bending to the side. but okay, fuck this chair. But we're getting close. We're getting close to the end of the show. But
bottle of blood.
I can't say for a fact vampires are real or not, but the practice of the vampires is alive and well. Blood doping, using blood on your skin to get your skin tighter, to look younger. People feel like if they drink blood, it makes them feel younger. People do drink blood out there.
I do right now. I feel really young, Eric. I feel young. I'm drinking blood.
What is this? And it sounds like vampires are obsessive and compulsive.
Well, yes, they are. According to this story, if you they are compulsive, yes, they've got an OCD. According to the literature, throw seeds down, they got to count them. If you throw a net out there, they got to count the threads. It's fucking hilarious. Yes, they've got to count everything. One seed. Ha 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 ha. Two seeds. Ha ha ha. Three. This is a lot of seeds. 40,001 seed. Ha ha ha. They keep counting.
Yeah, I'm trying
to run away.
Well, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to see how long is it? No, that's just a hold on. That's a trailer. I'm trying to see if if the movie The Fog is free on YouTube.
For tomorrow's, yeah.
I'm trying to see if it's free. I don't know if it is. I wish I knew a list of free movies that not really free, but they're free on YouTube, so anybody could watch movies. Anybody in the chat? Do you guys? Oh, somebody's doing their own vote. I vote for Gary Oldman. Oh God, Gary Oldman is the best vampire in a movie
ever. Yeah,
ever.
Yeah,
he was perfect.
But also, Pee Wee Herman was too.
anybody in the chat know of any free horror movies you can watch on YouTube? Please put it in the chat, because I want to pick some movies that anybody could watch, because not every movie, not everybody has streaming services to watch these movies. So I wish there was a list, because it looks like you can only rent The Fog. Is there a movie that's free on YouTube? So I'm just looking at the chat. It is free. Oh, The Fog is free on YouTube? Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Now I'm talking about there's a 1980s John Carpenter's version, and there was a remake of The Fog, which the remake I didn't mind. It wasn't as great as the original, but as far as remakes go, the remake Fog wasn't bad.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about The Fog tomorrow, people, and then Wednesday topic still up in the air. But as far as vampires, hey, vampires can be 100% real. I don't know for a fact. I don't live next to a Dracula, but the practice of the religion of the vampires is real to this day.
Real.
God says they're real, and I have no reason to say, "Oh, hold on, it's my mistake." It's not. The Mist is free though. Okay, The Mist is free. Okay, so tomorrow we're gonna talk the movie. We're gonna talk the movie The Mist, because The Mist is free on YouTube. So everybody, please watch The Mist, and I'll get the link up for tomorrow. So we're gonna talk The Mist, because people can watch it for free on YouTube.
Yeah.
And look at that. See, guys, go to my poll and do your vote, because the answer. I'm gonna recheck the poll real quick. At a 32 votes, 22% says Bob is a vampire.
Huh?
Oh shit! I was wrong, Eric. It was free, but they removed it.
Oh.
I'll tell you what. The next hour, I will research to see what's free, and I'll make that for tomorrow. So it'll be a surprise. What movie I want to talk tomorrow? I'm gonna see what's free. But beyond that, guys, today was such a fun, interesting topic. I loved it. So please, everybody, tell people to subscribe to my channel, and go to my Instagram account, go to Twitter, retweet the show, because on Twitter you can retweet it. Retweet the show. Get more people to know about this show, so we can grow this channel ourselves with you guys. Organic growth. I wanted to grow with you guys, because everybody who's in the chat today was fantastic. They were awesome. Everything today was fantastic. No fighting, no nothing. Tubi horror movie are free. Okay, I'll check that out.
Oh, yeah.
That, guys, we love you all. We'll see you later. And our ending song is created and made by Flat Accord Music. His channel is in the description of all my shows. So if you want to go to Flat Accord Music's channel, he's in the description. So guys, see you later.